develop a caricature for the bottom of our grid. A caricature is a face, which is a humorous portrayal of a character. For this piece, I chose to do a pirate. And then, of course, my background corresponded with that, with my pirate ship and my palm trees along the beach. And I have a little shark right there with a little dinghy, and my pirate flag, and I have a whale here, and I have more palm trees, and then if you look really closely I have somebody building a sandcastle, which is kind of a funny contrast, I think, for the fact that we have pirates here and then we have our person who is building a sandcastle. And if you look on the pirate ship, there's a pirate who's out walking the plank. So you need to come up with a theme. You need to determine, what do you want your theme to be? In my middle ground, I added a little treasure chest. Most of this is going to be your decision, what you do. Your background is up to you completely. Your middle ground, what you add, is up to you completely. In the PDF, I added some examples of some former students' samples, so you could see what some other students did. And then the face is also up to you. I am going to today give you a quick rundown of how to draw a face. We're not going to spend a lot of time on this, but I will give you some tips, some pointers, and then you're going to be on your own to design your own face. This is a great reference. This is a Christopher Hart book. This is called Everything You Ever Wanted to Know About Cartooning But Were Afraid to Draw. This is an excellent book if you want to have some good reference material to add to your reference library. In this book, you can see that there are different ways to draw a face, and there are lots of interesting facial features that you can use to help you draw your face as well. I've also included in your PDF, I've included this, which is my ideas for different types of eyes that you can draw, a different mouth, a nose, and how to develop your face shape. In your PDF, I've also given you 2 templates that you can use for the size of your face. I've got a circle template and I've got an oval template. If you prefer, you can always use purchased templates, but in case you didn't want to purchase a template, I decided to go ahead and draw the templates out for you. So I'm going to trace around my oval, and of course you don't have to draw an oval or a round face. You can draw any type face that you're interested in. You can draw a square face. One year I had a student who completed one of these one-point perspective thematic drawings, and his face was a robot. So you can do whatever you want to. But there are some rules that govern drawing a face. So the first thing that we need to do, and if you take a look at that PDF that I included, your face is divided into sections. And we go right down through the center for the center part of the face. And this, we're going to draw this face as if we're looking straight onto it. Now, the next thing I like to do is I like to draw my center line, which crosses over. I like to draw it on a curve. Face is a curved object, so in order to curve an object, you have to use a curved line. So I'm going to use this curved line to help me align all of my facial features. You can use any type of eyes that you'd like to, and I included a few of those right here. I've got different shaped eyes, a different shaped nose, different shaped mouths. You can use absolutely simple shapes if you prefer, or you can use more detailed. And of course, these are just my suggestions. You can, with your parents' permission, of course, Google any eye shape, any nose shape, any mouth shape on either Pinterest or Google, and you're going to come up with a plethora of different shaped eyes, noses and mouths. The next thing that we need to do is we need a second line about halfway. So our face is divided into fourths. This is the upper fourth, these two, which of course makes up the upper half. This is the lower half, which is divided in half again. We're going to divide this one more time right through here. This is the line to which my nose extends. So it starts up here and it stops right there. My mouth can be any shape that I want to. Again, I could use any of these shapes. I'm just going to use a basic, simple shape. Just going to give him a curved line. Now there's also a little divot right down here on your chin. If I wanted to, this is just a template, I can extend my face a little bit. If I don't feel that I've made my face long enough, I could come down and just give him a little bit longer chin. And then erase that lower line. And I've just given him kind of a longer angular chin. My eyes always are right up here on either side of the nose. And I typically drop my eyes, you can see from this because I curve this line, it drops the eyes down slightly. I can use any eye shape that I want to. I'm going to actually do a simple eye shape, because most of the time my students just wanted to do a simple eye shape. I'm going to draw a curved line right over the top of that area, about like so. And then I'm going to just drop a circle down below. And I'm going to give him a pupil, or her, whichever the case might be, into my eye, about like so. And of course I need an eyebrow. And I could, if I wanted to, I could add some eyelashes. About like so. Could add some freckles, depending upon what my character is, of course, will determine what I do. And then I can just kind of commit to those lines a little bit more. And my eyebrow might be more like that, or I might just use a straight line, whichever I prefer. My ears come right out from the nose, the eyes, out to the ears, and they typically are located right here along this center area. Most of the time your ears are covered over with hair, unless you are making a male, and then your ears will show. Hair. Hair begins not up here, just like this. Let me show you what not to do. This is what kids sometimes like to do. Just put that little patch of hair right on top of his head. But hair doesn't actually sit on his head. Even a boy with very, very short hair, they always have hair down on their forehead. So I'm going to add a little hair, just starting right down here on the forehead. Even a boy with super short hair will have hair down on his forehead. And then the hair actually extends up around the top of your skull. If you actually feel the top of your head, if you put your hand up on the top of your head, you can feel that your head goes up above your skull. So I'm going to take my hair just up above my character's head just a little bit. Now I could, of course, go up higher if I wanted to. And I'm going to bring some hair right down here beside. We're going to let this be a male for the moment. And yes, those of you that are boys, you have eyelashes. So you can put eyelashes on your head. I'm going to give him a little turkey tail there. So there is my boy's hair. If I wanted this to be a girl, I could easily change that. I could pull my hair, could leave this, and then I can just bring this. And I could have it looking like it's behind her ear, but I'm going to give her just a little bit more hair coming out. And design my hair, sort of like that. I could add a bow. I could also add a bun on her head. If I wanted this to be maybe somebody who has a bun, I could add just a little bun coming out the top of her head, which of course would change this part. I would need to erase this. Could give her a little bit more hair on top of her head. And then same thing here. Just work my hair using curved lines because I'm curving this shape. I could curve it around like that. So that would give her a little bit of a bun. Now at the base of your face, you of course will have a neck. So I'm looking at this character straight on. So my character's neck will come straight down like that. The shoulders come out from the neck. Give her a little bit of a collar. And I could leave the arms just down so that I don't really see them. Or I could draw my arms so that they're up and waving. Just up and waving. So you'd have to look at your hand and determine your arm, how you want your arm to be, and then get those arms up and waving. All right, that's an oval shape if it were a male or a female. What would happen if I wanted, and I'm just going to do the face, what would happen if I were going to show a 3/4 view of my character? I'm going to use the same oval tracing or template. Let's take a look at this. This one is actually a 3/4 view. The only thing that changes here is how my face is aligned. So here's my center line. I pulled that over just a little bit from my line. Made my dotted line. I'm going to bring this line like so, and then I'll need a second one down here. So let's put our dotted line here. And there. Okay. Now, how does this change things? Well, for one thing, your nose still sits in this general area, but you are only going to see one ear because the other one is away from you. So here's my ear. My nose will sit here. I'm going to give him kind of a bulbous nose. And the nose extended over this line. So I'm going to need to erase that line because I have a little bit of an overlap there. And then my eyes will actually sit in this same area. I'm going to give him circular eyes. And then this eye, you won't see all of it. You'll only see a part of it. And his pupil of his eye is going to be like this. This one will line up over here. And I'm going to give him kind of a funny looking eyebrow. This eyebrow will come over here. The other thing that will change slightly is with this 3/4 view is my head shape will change slightly. Your head will actually move back. So that it lines up more so with the eye. And then I would erase this part of my oval. And that gives me more of a realistic look for his face. His mouth. His mouth will basically come down like this. Here's his cheek. And you'll see more of this part of the mouth. And then this I can just leave, but I'm actually going to give him a little bit more of a cheek here and a little bit more of a chin. So I've changed him slightly. And then I can erase these lines. Give him some eyelashes if I want to, because even boys have eyelashes. And then I'm going to bring this part around a little bit more because I want a little bit more of a head on him. His neck. His neck will actually come out here, more like that. And then any clothing that he might be wearing would probably come around like this. We would have this part of his clothing about like so. Something like that. All right, now I need some hair. I'm going to leave him so that he's, I kind of like the idea of this little guy being kind of bald. So I'm going to just leave him kind of bald. I'm just going to give him some tufts of hair here. And maybe he's got some hair coming out here. Now, if I use this kind of little guy, would that change my background a little bit? I hope your answer was yes, because if I'm doing a theme and this is my character in my foreground, maybe my background is a wagon train in the background. If this little guy is in my foreground, then maybe my background would be a city street and he looks to me like a banker. We could give him some glasses here. Let's give him some glasses. Little banker's glasses. And then of course we would have the reflection in his eye. So there we've given him some little glasses. So of course that's going to change my background. Let's use now the circle to draw a couple characters. And I think I'll do 2 different ones. Start out with our basic, our front view. Again, we have to get that center line. I'm going to use this one. And I'm going to do a second one. And let's give him a basic nose. Let's just give him a curved line for the bottom of his nose, side of his nose, come up with the side. Notice I don't usually bring a second line up here. I just usually bring one. To me that just looks a little too much as though it is a triangle. You might like that, and if you do, go right ahead. I don't care to do that. So here I have, and give him a little darkness in his nostrils, and I'm just going to give him just a basic mouth. So we developed the nose. We could also add a little bit of a upper portion to the nose right there. And I'm just going to put in a basic oval eye, and then over half of it put the pupil, come up, give him or her eyebrows, and of course an eyebrow. And I would do the same thing over here. And then of course we need to give this character an ear, and then of course you would need to give him some hair. Again, hair starts up here on the forehead. It doesn't start up here unless you are making humorous hair like we did before. And then I would continue to develop my hair up and over the top of the head. Now I also thought that it might be interesting for you to see how I developed little pirate on my original piece. This pirate is a 3/4 view. This pirate also has his head tilted. So I'm going to tilt his head. And to do that, I'm going to start up here just a ways. Here's my dotted lines to divide my face. So I have a 3/4 view. I need a second line down here. Now, if you take a look, because this is a caricature, I may not necessarily have developed him exactly as I should have with proper facial proportions. You can see that his nose and his eyes are a little bit up higher on his head than some of the others that I've shown you. So I'm going to draw him just like that so that you can see how to do this. Again, his face is tipped to the side. So here's the oval. I'm going to give this a little bit more of a rounded edge on one side. side of his nostril here, then this line runs just up there. Again, it's a little higher on the forehead than normally we would have done that. It's a caricature. Here's this little cheek, this mouth, and he has some teeth. I'm going to put my teeth right here and draw in the teeth like so. He has some curved lines which make his nose look curved, and on either side of his, I just gave him oval eyes. This one's going to show up a little bit smaller than this one. And then some eyebrows. And his cheeks actually he's got kind of pudgy cheeks with a heart-shaped face down here. So I'm going to bring that down just a bit. Curve this up and around. And then I can erase all of these lines. I actually want this mouth to come down a little bit lower, so I'm going to move that because I don't like the way that looks. It's a little bit better. I think once I get the rest of everything else in there, I'll be fine with it. And then this is going to curve in just a bit. About like so. Now on this side, I'm going to put his ear right up here. And I'm going to give him some hair coming down here. I added some pupils to his eyes. He has to have some glasses. And the glasses are actually curved. And they just perch on his nose. And then you have a reflection. Same thing over here. I didn't even put anything, they just perch on his nose. That was it. Let's give him a hat. The hat actually comes around like this across his forehead. And on this little guy, I have this guy's face turned a little bit more, but this one I actually gave him a little ear because his face is more facing forward. This one I'm not going to, because the way he's turned, you won't actually see his ear. So let's bring this around. Give him some, because of course it's a little pirate kerchief type thing. and give him some little ties out here, and then I think I want this a little bit higher, so I'm going to raise this up just a little bit. Okay. And get rid of all those lines. I also can see that I want this to come around a little bit more, so his chin comes out like this. And this is all part of what drawing is all about, is just looking at something and changing it and making things work for you so you're happy with them. And let's see, I'm going to give it a little bit. And I'm going to put some dots on his hat. All right, and I could finish decorating his kerchief. I'm not going to do it right now. His shoulders, I'm just going to give him simple shoulders to come just like this. And then this would be the bottom of my paper. So, what do I do next? Well, next, I bring back out my paper that I had before, and looking at all of these different samples that I've shown you today, you can use some of these samples, or please come up with your own. Come up with your own ideas. Figure out what you want your theme to be. And then you would draw your character down in this lower section of your grid. In the middle section, you could add any other detail that you'd like to add. So for example, my pirate, I have him, and he's off-centered. I don't have him perfectly centered. He's got his little hands as if he's peeking up over the edge of the paper. I put my little buried treasure here in the center, and then in the background I added my pirate ship. So I want you to turn off the camera now. I want you to draw your own character, and when we come back, I'm going to show you how to transfer your character. You can either draw your character directly on here if you're happy with that, or else practice it on a sketchbook and then transfer it on here.